got it. Okay. Live there. That should be good. And I think we only have a few people that'll be here in person, but it'll also go live on Touchtown at 2. I'm hoping it still does. So we'll just have kind of more of just a discussion, and I'll do a little demonstration as well. But we thought it'd be good at least to talk about, do a little demo, and
I used to be good at flooring without getting hurt. Well, I can hardly get up is the trouble.
yeah. Are your toes like that on both?
No, just the right one.
Just the right one?
So I've been trying to think it could be because of the nut that I had just added to my orthotic insole.
Ah.
So I peeled that off now.
Yeah.
And Steph is helping them.
Is it helping?
Yes.
Good. Good. Better make sure I put this on Touchtown. Pretty sure I did. All the steps you gotta remember. Yeah, me too. We are managing though. Okay, it says 2 o'clock. It should go on. I wish there was a way that like showed me when it was live on here. But I don't think there's a way that it shows it. Anyways, hopefully it goes. Wiki, are you able to access channel 992 on the TV out here? Yeah. Oh, no problem. I was just curious if you got channel 992 out here and I could see if it. Sure. See if it does.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah, we do. In-house? Yeah.
Yeah. At least see if it
I watch some of it
do you?
once in a while, see if something's going.
Yeah.
It reminds me.
Alright, so I just went out to get the guys ready, and John said Jane wanted to come, but she forgot. So I'm gonna give her a call. So she
Yeah.
can take that.
Yep, because Susan said she was
Wiki,
going to
can I
come
use your phone?
during.
That's to call Jane Meacham. Do you have a directory?
Who do you need to call?
Jane Meacham.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank
You
you.
can do the 992.
just let her know that.
Yeah.
Sure. And John was like, oh, she'll wanna do that. I'm like, are you asking or are you telling? Deb, I got the box. Who's that? Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to see if it. Okay. We'll be able to see if it starts up. Then I can turn it off because it's super bright. I just said we're going to have kind of more of a round table, so. Well, let's see. I'm sure Susan and Mike will be down.
I think you're busy. Okay, that's fine. No, we're coming up there to eat. Okay, thanks. Take care.
There's Marion. Hi, Marion.
Hello.
There aren't 8 people in here.
Oh, here we go. We're going live. Oh, here we go. We're going live. Perfect. Okay, now I can turn that. You just do off.
Yeah, just do it off.
Okay, now I can turn.
It came up?
It came up. Okay, we're going here.
We could watch Lindsay on TV.
Yeah.
Jan has 2 things on stove cooking. She said,
Okay, you can tell her she could,
I said, we're all coming up to eat.
oh, there you go. Yeah, she can watch it from Touchtown if she would like to. So, welcome to whoever is joining online. I've got the computer here, Marion. So, whoever's at home, that's why I'm looking at the computer here. But, so yeah, you can move to, so you can hear. But, we just wanted to pull everybody together. We did the little fall prevention packets on September 22nd. Just wanted to get those out to everybody. They're the typical exercises that we do in class, but just wanted to be able to provide something for you to have in your rooms that you can always do. And then yesterday, Allie and I went through them all on channel 992 for the 1030 exercise as well. So if you would like us to talk through that again at all with you, we can. The 10 fall prevention exercises, if you did not get them, feel free to call either one of us and we can bring you a packet. So yes, good. So then we just wanted to continue the conversation as we're staying in our apartments more, everything. We always have to worry about falls, make sure your space is, in good shape, make sure that you're staying strong as people are kind of sitting more often. So here are these little packets, and we'll just kind of walk through the fall prevention technique here, and I'll read through these for those of you watching via Touchtown. I know this is a different world. I'm talking to you all on Touchtown and in person, but it's a good way to get more people. Here's another packet here. Marianne, it's a step-by-step getting up from a fall. So what we have for 6 fall prevention techniques, and if you want any of these, if you're in your home watching along today, if you want any of these prevention techniques, you can just let us know. But basically, and I know Allie handed them out when she gave out the packets, but 6 fall prevention techniques, making an appointment with your doctor, seeing what medications that you're on, have you fallen before, could health conditions be causing any of those falls or anything. So just being aware, having that honest conversation with your doctor about falls, it's easy to withhold that information and not tell people that you have had a fall, but it's important to talk about. There could be something else going on. And then, it could be a sign that you have something more going on that you didn't know before. So having that initial conversation with your doctor first is always important. And then the second and most important in Allie and I's opinion is keeping moving, continuing the exercise. That's why we have this program. That's why we push it so hard, and we want to continue to have everybody continue to exercise and move. We don't know, we're going into the winter time, so not as much walking outdoors, movement around. I know, who knows what will happen with COVID and everything that will go on. So not as much moving as we might normally do. So we'll continue with the videos on Touchtown. We'll continue with the classes as much as we can, but just continuing to move, even if it's just getting up and walking down the hall and coming back or whatever it is, working on chair stands, getting up and down 5 times before you go do your activity or whatever it is. That moving piece of it is so important. So, and if there's any suggestions you have that you would like to see on Touchtown, we could always put a Tai Chi video. Tai Chi is not my thing, not Allie's thing, but we don't teach it, I should say. So we could always try and get Tai Chi videos on Touchtown. If there's anything else that you would like to see, I'm sure there's even Zumba, any type of thing that you would be interested in. We can get those things on Touchtown as well. The correct shoes. So wearing the correct shoes. I know it's easy to put, the slip-ons without a back, but those are not always the safest shoes. So watching what you have on your feet, ones that are not super slick, they have kind of a little grip, but not too much grip so that you're stopping and going forward, but just having sensible shoes. Again, talk to either someone at the store about it or talk to a doctor. Maybe there's a shoe that's right for you that you didn't even know there was, but knowing the right, correct shoes to wear.
Everybody here probably has known this for years, but I didn't know till I was grown up. Men's shoes run wider, and I wish I'd known that sooner because I have wide feet, and it's great. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yep. And how did you find that out? I mean,
I saw a pair of shoes that I thought would fit me, and they said they were a boy's size. They were perfect. So then I discovered men's medium is a D, women's medium is a B.
okay. Yeah. So those are the little things, just kind of knowing what kind of attire is out there, what kind of shoe wear is out there, what your foot is. If you don't know if it's wider, narrow or whatever it is. So thank you for that, Deb. And then number 4, removing hazards from your home. I know you hear about this all the time, but do you have rugs? Is there a part of your carpet that's coming up? Do you have a cord that's going across a walking path? Do you have some garbage that you've dropped on the ground and it's just laid there or whatever it is? Making sure you don't have those trip hazards in your homes. That's a very, very important thing. Coffee tables, if you are one that tends to wobble a little bit, running into coffee tables or, anything. And if you're cooking in the kitchen, if you spilled something, oh, I'll get to it later, and then you forget that it's there. You've dropped water, you've dropped grease, you've dropped soap, whatever it is, make sure you take care of it right away. If you're unable to do so, make sure you call someone to take care of those things, because next thing you know, you could forget and slip right into that spill. So just removing hazards from your home. Lighting up your living space, number 5. So making sure you have adequate lighting. If you have to get up frequently to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, having a lamp or some of those little things that you can plug into your light socket that come on automatically when it gets dark. Turning on the lights, if you have to fully turn them on before you get up or whatever it is, make sure you're doing so. If your apartment, it's going to be starting to get darker earlier. So if your apartment starts to get darker earlier, flipping on the lights. I know a lot of us don't like lights, but turning it on to what you need so that you're able to see. Everybody has different vision needs, so just making sure that you are making sure it's lit up enough. And then use of assistive devices. So your doctor might recommend that you have devices. If you are recommended to have that device, use that device as they recommend it to be used. So if that's at all times or just taking long walks or whatever that is, making sure you're using that device as much as you need to. So those are just 6 different things to think about. Again, it's a lot of things that you probably heard over and over again, but oh yeah, it's fine. It's not me. I don't need to worry about that. So it's just a gentle reminder of things that you should be thinking about. So then we have another, okay, so our next thing, okay, before I go there, what questions, thoughts, anything about that list? I wish we had like a call-in from Touchtown. Any thoughts on that list? What's that? Oh yeah, call Wiki if you have any thoughts. Okay, so the next thing that I have here is a step-by-step guide for how to get up from a fall safely. So I can be a demo if you want to read, or I can just take it through, or if you want to be a demo, whatever. So we're going to take you step by step through how to get up from a fall, and then we'll talk about actually falling safely. Okay. So say that you have fallen, you've made your way to the floor. You don't have any injuries that you know of, but we'll go through what we should do to check to make sure. So say you make it to your back and you're lying here on your back. Can they, yeah, they can see it. Okay,
So step number 1 in the packet says stay calm and still. Don't move for a few minutes because moving too quickly can cause more harm. So as you're laying there, staying still. Step 2, if you do feel pain or anything, figure out where that injury is. By doing that, you can slowly start to move your hands, your ankles, arms, everything like that.
Sliding their knees a little bit or sliding the heels in, check your knees, roll a little bit side to side, but not a lot of movement because, yeah, your jerky movements, that could cause an issue right there.
Yep.
Anyways.
Step 3, if there are no injuries, slowly roll onto one side, starting the movement with your head and moving down your body towards your feet. Take a moment of rest once you get to that point. Don't bump your head on the floor.
And if it's more comfortable, you know, kind of getting an arm under there or whatever that is for you.
Okay, once you take a little moment of rest here, step 4 will be slowly push up into a crawling position. And then once you're in that on all fours, start slowly on your hands and knees toward a sturdy chair or piece of furniture.
And then here, just kind of getting yourself stable, make sure you still feel okay while you're there. Come over here, find a chair. I'll get my rear end in your face here. So you find your chair. Most people have one leg that is stronger than the other, or if you have any feet issues or any hip issues on one side, just knowing your own body and kind of feeling if there's any pain. Obviously, you want to stay where you are, but always knowing kind of what your strong side is. So for me, that would be the right side for me, right-handed. So then making sure, you know, and it helps mostly, I won't move it to the wall, but if you can get your chair pushed up against the wall, that's going to be the key here, because you don't want that chair to tip or to slide out from in front of you, but you want to put that weight in that front foot. Okay.
Yep.
Am I getting ahead of you?
You're fine. So like she had said, place your hands on the seat and then use that stronger side. Something I do want to point out, notice how her hands were wider. So they were above hands and shoulders are all in line. Okay, we don't want a narrow stance. You want to be able to have that good balance, I guess you could say. And then step 5, supporting yourself with the chair. Bring your strongest leg up to a 90-degree angle by putting the foot flat on the ground, which you can see she has done there. The other leg stays in a kneeling position. I don't know if you can see that. And then slowly start to push up standing using both arms and your legs.
Yep. And then you want to rock that weight forward, obviously get all that weight over that front foot. And if you need to use a little bit of momentum into that, try and push up on that stronger leg. Okay, so then you're coming up into standing. And then from there, the last step that it has on there is just to make sure, turn around and take a seat, let your body relax for a moment. And at that time, if you need to or want to call somebody at that point, you can. Is that similar to what you maybe have done in the past, or what thoughts on
I
getting
can't get on my knees. My knees feel like 1,000 needles.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
then what do I do?
Yep.
I
So-
tried pulling myself up to the edge of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't strong enough to get all that weight, push myself up.
Mm-hmm. So what my mom has to do, Marion was asking if you're unable to get to your knees. So I will show you what my mom has done when she has to get up and off the floor with my kids. Because she has double knee replacement. She has issues with her hips. She has all sorts of issues. Again, she does have pretty decent arm strength. So not saying this might work for everybody, but it's something that could definitely help. But she goes from a seated position. She kind of comes over to the side here. And then she comes here and brings it almost like she's in like a down dog. Bring your strong foot up. Again, you would always want something next to you. And then make your way up. You do have to have that arm strength.
Do that again.
Mm-hmm. So she rolls to one side, because again, she can't get on her hips or on her knees, but she rolls here. The weight shifts into her arms and then brings the knees down. Try and get that,
Yeah.
yep, get that strong foot forward. Have your chair there, push on that strong foot and up there. So that's one way without using the knees. And again, you have to use more arm on that, but she swivels around, and that's how, at least in her case, she gets by without getting onto her knees. Again, it might not be for everybody, but again, if you can have a strong object, you know, here close to you, even getting to that side, try and shift that weight even from here. And again, I know it's might be difficult, but even trying to here, get yourself to that position to bring yourself up. So then it's not as much pushing onto the ground, but so
Thank you.
yeah. Any other thoughts on that, getting up from the floor?
Another big thing too, how we said, keep your kind of wrist in line, so all your joints in line. When you push yourself up, push like you're pushing through the floor. You don't want to push forward, because that's when, if you didn't have a chair up against something sturdy, it would slide. So when you do go to push yourself up, push like you're imagining like you're pushing the floor down rather than out. Yeah, because then you're just going to push either yourself back or your object away from you, which we don't want that.
Even if you think you have a strong chair or object, it could still, like you saw, this one was doing tip. If it's not sliding, you think it's safe, but it could also tip. So just kind of watching, yeah, what your object is as well. So, and then the next thing on there, it kind of just talks through if you do have a fall with injuries. So say you're laying on the floor with injuries, what would you do?
Wish you had a cell phone.
Mm-hmm. So if you're laying there with an injury, you don't have your little button with you, what are you gonna do?
Yell.
Yep,
Yell.
yep. And you know, if you got your voice is not working well, pick up an item. If there's anything close to you, like a cane, or if you have anything on the floor around you, you can find anything around you. Bang on the floor, bang on a wall, bang on whatever you can, holler, whatever you can to get someone there. Also, if you have anything soft, putting it under your head and kind of waiting there. Cover yourself with any, if it's a clothing item or a blanket, anything you have close until somebody can hear you. You can stay warm and comfortable until somebody can hear you, but trying to make as much noise as possible, but making sure if you do have a fall with those injuries, you're really, really paying attention to your body. There's a lot of times people get up after a fall. You don't think you have an injury, you end up with a much worse injury trying to get up. So just making sure you're smart about that. So,
and some of these things are important too, even if you do have your pendant, you know, and you push your pendant, who knows how long it would take. So finding those things to cover you up if you are cold, you know, putting something under your head if you were on a hard surface, something like that.
but that's also an important reason to keep that pendant with you.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, you just
Mhm.
never know. So when you're on campus, making sure you keep that with you. If you're off campus on a walk, if you have a cell phone, keep it on your person or in your walker, whatever you have to have as a form of communication. Keep that close to you, as close as you can. I know we don't want to all keep our cell phones on us all the time, but have some form of means of communication with you. Be very, very helpful. You just never know. We all have that mindset of it's not going to happen to me, right? So just remember, keep those items with you. Any questions on getting up from a fall or actually having a fall?
I think you have to have strong feet.
Core, back, it all, yep, it all plays a role.
Like when you fell and you're trying to get up without using your knees, you have to strong feet.
Yep, yeah, in the shoes, if you have slippery shoes on,
Yep.
take the slippery shoes off.
Yeah.
And if it's socks, if you have that split floor and you have to make it down to your bare feet, do that so that you have some traction there. You know, the best possible scenario is you have a good shoe on, but that's not always the case. So if you have to get down to your barefoot so you can get a little bit of traction on a slick floor, then do that. Whatever you have to do to get a good grip is important. So
Half of my clothes are so curled, they won't give me any leverage. And that makes it really hard to get up. I essentially can't kneel because I can't get out of it.
mhm. Have you tried from using like that other foot or both just cause the,
I'm going to start looking and start practicing and seeing what I can do.
you know, if that one foot is causing the issues, maybe trying the other one too. And yeah, but that's important. Try now, you know, at your house, trying to, get down and up, practice it. It's important just in classes, continue to do the exercises so that you know that you have the leg strength. You can do a squat, you can do a chair stand, you can get up, just know that you have that leg strength. So. Were you about to say something?
Are you gonna show us the video?
So, what do you mean? You want to see a different video?
Or you mean of how to get up or how to fall or what we're doing?
You had something there to show us.
So I'm on Touchtown right now. For everybody who is at home, they can see and hear our conversation. So that's what that's doing here.
Okay, you're recording.
Yep. So
Yep.
people they're watching live right now from their homes. So, the last thing we were going to talk about is how to actually fall. What do you think the most important thing if you're going to fall? What is the most important thing to think about as you fall?
Furniture around you, that you don't hit your head
Mm-hmm.
on furniture around you.
Mm-hmm.
Relax if you can, roll if you can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It happens so fast, you don't know how.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's what I always hear is it happens so fast I don't even know what happened. So that's why thinking about this before it happens, so you can be aware of your body in that moment and what that is feeling like as you take a fall. So trying to stay bent and relaxed. So we all know that, if you can get to more of a crouch position or you can hit more of a surface area than just a wrist or just your hip, like straight on or whatever that is. So we want to try and hit more of the surface area. So say that you trip going forward. What is the one thing we don't want to do?
So rise the knee.
The knee.
Yep.
Trying to catch yourself straight on and break a wrist or an arm. So if you trip, and I know it happens fast, but trying to get yourself to the side, okay? So if you take that trip, you stumble, instead of just trying to catch yourself straight on, you trip, try and let yourself fall to the side and let momentum even happen, okay? So I'm kind of like a flop down on the fish, but so, but does that make sense? Instead of trying to trip and go forward, you catch your toe, let yourself kind of curl into that ball. You're going down into that ball, let momentum happen and just kind of roll with it. Does that make sense? Instead of just trying to catch yourself straight down, trying to let that momentum happen that's hitting. You have got big thighs, right? Big rear end muscles back here. Let those kind of work together to take most of that. That's what we want, is those big muscles, our meaty parts, to take most of the brunt of that. Again, we want to be protective of the shoulders. That's why you kind of roll with it. But that would be much better to let more surface area hit it instead of our entire weight.
Well, you know you're gonna have some broken bones if you do that.
If you
Yeah.
just catch.
Yeah.
So then another thing with that is, yes, there's furniture around. Protect your head. Okay? So if you have to tuck in the head, if you see you're going down towards some furniture again, tucking will help with it, but kind of tucking in the head, protecting your head, especially if you trip going backwards. So say you're backing up, someone see someone, you catch your heel, again, curl, okay? So you're curling, kind of take it to the side and roll into it. Instead of flat, right on the tailbone or on a hip, trying to, again, as much as you can, curl over to the side and let the side of the body take that brunt. Because what's going to happen if you just fly backwards,
You hit your head on furniture.
hit your head on the furniture, you hit your head on the floor. But again, if you are rolling all the way back, trying to tuck the head in as much as you can instead of that whiplash hitting the head against the furniture, against the hard floor, whatever it is. Protect your head. It's our most valuable possession that we have. So protect your head, protect those small bones. What else?
When you curl yourself up into a ball, then that kind of protects the joints by curling yourself in. So when you curl the shoulders in, when you tuck the chin, you're going to use more of the muscles that you have in your back to kind of use when you roll.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't tuck the shoulders, you're going to land on the shoulder, you'll hurt your shoulder.
Yep.
So always imagine trying to get into a ball, tuck and roll.
Yep, instead of just going straight down on it, rolling into that. Yes, will you maybe be a little bit sore, you landed on it, but it's better than going straight onto it, putting your hand out, trying to catch yourself that way. If you're trying to catch yourself on some furniture, you miss the furniture and then you go down even harder. So, trying to at least tuck, roll if you can roll a different direction, whatever that is. Biggest thing is just try and make yourself a smaller surface area so that you're not going flat out. So
You kind of circle back. If you do, you tuck and you roll and then you land. Well, now you're at the position where you can lay there, be still, figure out if you have any injuries, and go from there. Just how to get yourself back up if you don't have any injuries.
what thoughts do you have?
When I fell backwards, it happened so fast, I had no time to think about anything. All of a sudden, I was just on the floor.
And that happens a lot. And a lot of times what happens, sit down so they can kind of see my feet, but if it's a blood pressure issue, you've passed out. A lot of times people don't remember it because something has happened, but even having those thoughts and conversations right now, it will help, spark that thought. So maybe that will be more of an intuition type of thing now instead of, oh, I just fell, I don't know what just happened. So trying to spark that. But there are those cases that it is, you passed out, your blood pressure went, too high, too low, whatever. And maybe you don't remember it for that, whatever reason. But again, that's another reason to have that conversation with your doctor because there's something going on that maybe you don't know about. So, what else?
Why do you tend to fall backwards?
Well, I don't know what the statistics show, but I don't think that there is like a significant one way or the other. But, I would say, most of your weight is going backwards already. You think about on the backside of us, we carry quite a bit of weight in the backside. So, if you're going to crumble, a lot of us would go backwards, but it just depends. It's situational. It's really situational. If you're walking, there's a lot of people who fall forward because they're walking and they tripped on something or tripped over their own feet. So I don't know what the statistics are of more people falling forward versus backwards, but a lot of
Everybody will be a
variables.
little different. It comes to strength, it comes to just your coordination and balance. Some people, have certain sides that are weaker than others, so they're tending to fall to that weaker side if they do trip. Their gait, of course, plays a role. So,
and a lot of falls, I've heard a lot of times I was trying to take a seat. I was trying to sit down and I missed the seat. So a lot of times people just miss the seat and, fall backwards too. So a lot of it is just situational, but.
Or the slabs of the sidewalk are not completely plumb.
Yeah, vision plays a huge role in it too. So making sure you've got the correct eyewear, glasses, contacts, whatever that is, so that you can see, because depth perception causes a lot of falls too, that you think you saw where that curb was, or you thought there was a curb there and it was just a line or whatever it was. So making sure you're up to date on the latest things for your eye checks too.
Yep.
So any other thoughts or questions? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Just to kind of think about, and we're always willing, to do some personal training and help work on those things and work on those muscles. Obviously, we work on them every day in class, but if you want to actually work on, we have done it before in class, just a class of trying to get up off the floor or whatever it is, halfway down to the floor and get back up or whatever, because those are important things. Falls do happen, but most falls are preventable. So what is it that you need to look at? Make sure that all of those things are checked off, all that list, to make sure that you're doing the most that you can to prevent those, because they can be very disastrous. So, but I think that's mostly what we have for you today. We just wanted to have that conversation. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. We sent out that group exercise survey because, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be getting colder. We're not walking outside as much, not getting around as much. So make sure and let us know if you'd like to join a class or if there's anything else that we can do for you to keep you moving, because that's our part of the deal.
I couldn't get on my knees. Then what do I do?
Yep. So just trying to get to your hip, and then you gotta just work on that arm strength too. So
That made me think, which your case might be different, but is it due to a knee replacement or is it just your
No,
knees are
knee
just,
replacement, double. Both of
Okay.
them have been replaced.
I was gonna say, because something that comes to my mind thinking that too, if you don't have the ability to do, the rover on your feet and not necessarily your knees, maybe finding, I guess, I don't know, something softer to put under your knees if you did fall on a hard surface. I know that's not always the case, but take some of that hard surface away. Again, you have to watch that, as you are getting up. You don't want to trip again over something, but if that's at least what's going to get you to a seated position, finding something softer.
The side of the bed, and I couldn't push myself
get up to the
Yep, that's tough.
Yep.
that far.
Yeah, maybe it is like Allie said, pull your bedspread off of your bed and put it down. So if your knees were, if you were comfortable getting that under your knees, since you're next to your bed, if that would help take a brunt of that. Because I know that was the issue with my mom, is it just a hard surface, you couldn't do it. But if there was, you kind of bunched it up. But again, yes, when you're getting up, make sure you don't trip on that as you're getting up, but at least
It's just that quick fix just to get that pressure up the knees, and then once you get to your
What
feet.
did you finally manage to do, Marion?
I called on the I fell up against my nightstand and I couldn't get up like this. And I reached over to the telephone and I called 6700 and asked for a man to come up and help me up. Because the reason I didn't use my button, which was on me and is now, was because I heard that 3 falls and you're out. And they told me the other day, was it next door to Christy? Who's next door to Christy?
Amy.
Amy. She said that's not true.
No.
Yeah.
And then just, we did say too, if you're not next to a surface or something that's sturdy to get you up, crawling to that next space, that's something that bothers your knee too. Maybe you scoot on your bottom to the next area, or getting on that larger meat and scooting over to something too, if you do have those knee issues as well.
And I crawled out of one room on my butt.
Yep.
Crawled into the next room where there was a phone.
Yeah.
And so someone would come, and that was about midnight. And 2 men came up and helped me up. And then in the morning, I thought, what am I doing here? But a nurse was just coming on duty and she was checking because this was activity that the employees had performed during the night.
Oh.
So they wanted, so I got up, was awakened at 6:30 when so I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, no, whatever you can do to prevent those falls is important. So, well, I'm gonna shut this down and we can continue any conversation, but thank you for all who joined here.
I
Yeah.
always look for something unusual.